Hi my loves, welcome to my channel. My name is Anna Safazada and I've been an industry professional makeup artist for the last 10 years. So many of you have worked with me over the years and have seen my work and requested tutorials on them. I've just been so used to being behind the scenes and behind camera that I never thought I'd actually get to doing this in front of camera. But here we are. I wanted my first ever video to be about something really special to me, which was my Itsy Bitsy spider look from last year. And so many of you loved the look and requested it, and so I wanted this to be something that was really simple to do and with very minimal product usage, so anybody who's even a beginner can handle it. So let's get started.
Alright guys, so I'm just starting with bare skin. For this look, I'm not really going into too much glam. You can choose to do your makeup however you prefer. However, I'm just going with the basics, some concealer, foundation. I actually went in just a little bit lighter with my foundation so that the spider and the shadow that it's emerging from can pop. Add some highlight to it. Although I'm not quite sure why I'm putting so much concealer on the left eye. It's all gonna get covered, so you can skip that process if you'd like. Even though I'm going in a lot lighter in my skin, I still wanted to add some bronzer. Alright guys, so the first step is to start off with a really good primer. Since we're going to be using a lot of eyeliners and black eyeshadow, you want to make sure that it stays put. I'm using the Urban Decay Potion Primer on this. Be sure to apply it under your eyes as well, since we'll have a lot of black going down as well. Now first start off with a really soft pencil. I'm using the MAC Eye Kohl in Smolder. Apply that all over your lid and then just start blending it with a flat brush. The goal here is to get a nice even layer all over your eyelid. Make sure that you start extending it down on the inner corners of the eyes and then slowly underneath the eyes. Here I'm lining my waterline with the pencil. And be very careful when you're doing the top so you don't poke your eyes. But definitely get all of that lash line and just blend it all so that there's no skin tone showing through. I'm just going to go back and forth and continue blending until I have the entire eyelid covered, as well as underneath and around the eyelash line. I'm also applying that same pencil underneath my eyes, so we're going to cover this later with some shadow. Here I'm using the Huda palette in the color Black Truffle, which is my favorite. It gives you a nice dark matte look, so that way it mimics a shadow. You want to try to hide as much of the shine as possible. Once you've really pressed in a nice layer of the eyeshadow, go back in with a blending brush. I'm using my 224 MAC brush here and just sort of blend out any edges. The goal here is to create that diffused, hollowed cavity look that the spider is coming out of. Here I'm using a 217 brush to really just blend out the edges and create a nice soft diffused look. Keep repeating that process until you're completely satisfied with your hollowed shape and a nice diffused edge. Now I'm going to go in with a slightly harder pencil. This is also a MAC pencil. It's called Defiantly Black. The reason for this is so that you don't get too much product on your skin. You're using this to essentially create a stencil of the spider. As you're creating your stenciled spider shape, just remember that this is the perfect time to make any mistakes and erase them. Because once you've laid down the pencil, you can see exactly how it's going to look, and then later on we're going to go over it with some liquid liner. I'm basically just kind of experimenting at this point. Since the spider is supposed to be emerging out of the darkness, the legs are sort of facing in different directions, trying to pull itself up. Once you're happy with the shape, go over it with your liquid or gel liner. I'm using Blacktrack from MAC. It's much easier to control a gel than it is liquid, so that way you can create the shape however you prefer. Here I'm tracing out one of the little legs in the front. You can make your spider legs as thick or as thin as you want. So just get creative here, guys. We don't discriminate. Spiders come in all shapes, sizes, colors. If you want to make yours like a brown recluse spider, you can change the colors of the legs. I'm just gonna go with full black. I think it gives it more of a darker, more horror look, but get creative. I'd love to see what you guys come up with. My favorite part of drawing the spider legs is just kind of trailing it off at the end to give it sort of that really thin ending. This is actually a really fun process, so enjoy it, guys. Alright, so just like how life is not perfect, we'll make some mistakes and your spider's not going to be perfect, and it's okay. Just move on. Don't try to like worry too much about the little details, because in the grand scheme of things, when you have finished the entire look, it's going to look really cool. So over here you may have noticed that our spider has a few extra legs. I went a little spider leg happy and added a few more with my gel liner. You can do that if you'd like. However, I think you'll have a cooler effect if you keep it a lot less, because later on we're going to be adding some shadows to it. But my spider's gonna have a lot more legs than yours. Put the final touches on your spider, and voila, you've got the final shape. Make sure you're happy with it. And don't forget to count. I don't know if you guys noticed, but my original spider eye look had an extra little leg in there. So be sure to count that it's even. Now, this part's really cool. Take a flat brush or even a shadow brush and take that same black truffle shadow and start by slowly creating sort of a shadow under each leg. Start out by making it really, really light and go darker on the ends. Typically, shadows are much darker as the leg or hand or whatever is much closer to the ground. And then as it goes higher, the shadows are a lot lighter. The reason why I'm using black is because it just mimics a shadow really well against the skin. Now, if you make any mistakes, don't even worry about it. Just take a dry brush, one that has no product in it, and blend it out. And just continue giving your spider little shadows. This creates such a cool three-dimensional effect. It literally makes it pop. Make sure that you keep the direction of the shadow facing pretty consistent with all the legs. Even if it's curving the other direction, you want to make sure that the shadow is still on either the left, all of them, or the right. Now I'm going back and using that 217 brush from MAC Cosmetics again and sort of expanding the shadows out a little bit more into the legs and sort of blending it into each leg's shadow. So go ahead and finish off all of your shading and blending, because now we're in the coolest part of this tutorial. I'm using an NYX liquid liner in white, and first place 2 little dots for the eyes. Then go into each leg and using that white liner create sort of like a highlight on each leg. However, you want to make sure that your placement is strategic. You don't just want to like cover the whole leg with white. This is essentially mimicking shine off of each corner, each little, groove of the leg. That way it gives it a really realistic, almost like a shinier spider kind of look. It really makes it dimensional. So don't skip this part at all. This part's my absolute favorite. Once you're finished with it, it creates such a cool three-dimensional effect that your spider really comes to life. Now I'm just applying some mascara. It's in Extreme Dimension 3D Black from MAC. You want to make sure you get those lashes nice and dark. And then I'm just going back into the inner corner of my other eye from NYX and placing that white on the inner corner to make it pop. And here we are. Now this part is pretty optional. I'm using my Fenty Beauty Stunna lip paint in red and creating a Black Widow's mark on the plain side of my face. You can do more than that and just create a more smoky eye if you wish, but I'm just keeping it nice and simple since this is supposed to be a really easy tutorial for you. Go ahead and fill that whole thing in, and voila, that's your final look. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. Please don't forget to comment below and let me know what you thought. Subscribe, like, and share with all your friends. Thanks for watching.